something happened in our home. Our children were playing and broke the screen of a phone belonging to my husband. He was home when it happened. Out of anger, he banned the children from watching television till further notice. A few days later, he returned from work and I was watching the news. He returned and immediately asked why the TV was on. I told him what I was doing. He immediately roared and asked me if I didn't hear that we were banned from watching television till further notice. I asked him if I was also included. He said yes. Did I break anything? He roared, saying that it was his house. The next thing he said was that it was my fault the children broke what they broke because I didn't train them well. At that point, I lost my temper and we exchanged words for the first time since we got married because I was tired of his attitude. I didn't say a word. I just left the sitting room. He asked me to leave our bedroom and started locking the door. Some days he didn't return home, and when he did, the children locked themselves in their room or pretended to be asleep. He wouldn't say a word to me and I'll stay in my lane. This went on for a year. At some point, I decided that enough was enough. In the beginning, the children didn't understand that their father's attitude was real. They still went to him for assistance. If you see how he yelled and snubbed them, it broke my heart. Yes, they broke it, but he also had some blame for not keeping the phone safe. He was staying away from home for weeks before returning. I searched for an apartment and found a one-bedroom apartment I could afford and paid for it. I was gone for over a month before my husband called to ask me where I was, meaning that he was gone for that long too. I told him I had moved out with our children because I could no longer keep up with his behavior and attitude anymore. He ordered me to return to his house, but I asked him what for. We no longer did anything together as a family, so what was the point? He could leave the house unaccounted for 4 weeks. He no longer cared if we existed. He no longer provided for us, so what was I returning to do? I told him he had turned the children into what I couldn't explain, and it was affecting their grades. And he couldn't care less. He saw me struggle to meet up looking after our children and never cared. So what should I return to do? They asked me to move back, but I said no. He offered to give me a refund, but I declined. What had happened was not something that I just overlook. Do I know where he has been this past year? Do I know what he has been up to? I told our parents that until he gives an account of where he has been, I'm not interested in anything he had to say. As I write, I'm still in the apartment I rented. My husband has taught me how to live without him. Couples should stop treating their spouses like children. My trust is broken. Let's all consider the consequences of our actions before doing them. Bimsbell Relationship News.